Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I wanted to do a quick update on the SN30 Pro Plus that I reviewed the other day because I got a few other things to talk about with it. The first is that I bought this little clip that you can use to attach your mobile phone to the top of the controller, so we're going to look at that. I also updated it to the latest firmware, which supposedly was going to fix some latency issues with the Nintendo Switch. We'll talk about that briefly, and we'll touch on iOS 13 compatibility as well. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that this came in free of charge from 8Bitdo, but I did buy the clip here that we're going to look at for the mobile phone support. And the Google Pixel 3a phone we're going to be using with the controller came in free of charge from Google. All the opinions, though, you're about to hear are my own. Nobody is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it gets uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what all this stuff is all about. So let's talk first about the firmware update that's designed to address the Nintendo Switch latency. I did install the new firmware, which was not available at the time I shot the review. However, the latency I'm getting on my Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons attached is the same exact latency I was getting before, about 84 milliseconds or so. It's not bad, but the Pro controller from Nintendo does a little better. So I don't know if my Switch didn't have the issue to begin with, or perhaps this firmware isn't quite yet fixing whatever issues they're trying to rectify there. Another thing I tried out was connecting this up to the iOS 13 beta. The big update in iOS 13, which will be called iPadOS on the iPad, is that it will allow you to use Xbox and Sony controllers with your iOS devices, both the PS4 controller and the Xbox One controller that supports Bluetooth. I assumed that this one would also work, given that it can run in X input mode, which is the same mode as the Xbox controller. However, my iPad is not detecting it at the current iOS beta that it is running. So I'm going to file a little bug report with Apple to see if they can maybe support some of these third-party controllers that are X input compatible. But at the time I'm shooting this video, it does not work with iOS 13. So just keep that in mind if you were thinking of buying it for that reason. I thought it would, but it does not yet. The Xbox One controller that I have does pair up with the iPad successfully, so I think there's something that Apple's got to do to let these kinds of controllers work with it. That's a bummer, because I think it'd be great to have some more controller options on the iOS platform, even beyond the two new ones they're supporting. So let's move on now to the clip, and this clip is $10, and you got to make sure you get the right one, because this clip for the Pro controller is not compatible with it. It just doesn't fit over the new shell here. So you need to be sure to get the right clip for your particular application. And of course, I bought the wrong one, which is now on this controller here. I will say that it is a lot more comfortable on the new controller, because one of the issues I think a lot of folks had with the old one was just putting up with all of this weight here that's really unsupported, and it's often very uncomfortable to get your hands down to the trigger here and hold the phone up. And this is a smaller iPhone 10. You can imagine what a larger phone might feel like. The handles on here do make a big difference and make the whole process a lot more comfortable. The only issue with the clip is that it will cover up your pairing button and your USB-C port, and of course the battery compartment here. The way it goes on is you put it over the top portion of the controller first and then snap it into place. You got to jiggle it around a little bit until that portion there clicks in like that, because if it doesn't click, it's going to fall right off. I also noticed that even though I bought the clip that was the lighter color, it really doesn't match the controller all that well. So if you are someone who's very concerned about aesthetics, you're not going to be pleased with the color differences here between the two. So once you get this portion attached, you then clip on this portion here, and you're good to go. And if you've seen some of these things before, this is identical to how some of the other clips operate as well. They're spring-loaded. You can take your phone and just pop it right in here and get off and running. One issue, of course, with the Pixel 3a here is that the volume control is right where the top of the clip attaches. I have found that it's not triggering it by accident here, but if you want to change the volume, you got to slide it out a little bit to make the adjustment and then push it back in. But I will say, It does feel pretty comfortable because you have the handles here supporting everything. You're still feeling some weight at the top, but it's nowhere nearly as uncomfortable as this is. And I was playing some PC games a little bit earlier, and it seemed to feel pretty nicely. Now, what I did do here is I switched the controller into X input mode. I connected it via Bluetooth to the phone, and now we're going to load up the Moonlight app and stream a game from my computer upstairs and see how it works. All right, so here we are playing with my PC upstairs, streaming to the Pixel phone here. I've got the controller connected via Bluetooth, of course, to the phone, and it feels pretty comfortable, actually. I've been playing with this off and on for the last couple of days, and I'm not getting any kind of fatigue in my wrists here. It's certainly a little on the top-heavy side as it was on the other controller, but the handles here really make a difference. So I think if you felt like this controller wasn't working for you, this one's going to feel a lot better, I think. And of course, you get a very functional D-pad. All the controls work, so if I hit my stick click here, you can see the scan is working properly. I can click the other stick here to run my character around. And overall, it has been a good experience with this phone and its nice display and the controller here with the clip attached. So I think you'll have a pretty good gaming experience, certainly a better one than we had with the other clip configuration there. So pretty good. Android devices do introduce some latency into the mix when you're talking about Bluetooth, so you will feel probably a little bit more lagginess perhaps than you might on a PC with a direct USB connection. But for a game like this, No Man's Sky, it feels pretty good on here, and it's a fun way to stream the game on a smaller screen when you don't want to sit in front of your television or something like that. So pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with how it's functioning here overall. So I just wanted to do that quick update to give you an idea as to some other things that we didn't cover in the original review. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Mike Talbert, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/s.